Hey guys, today we're going to go ahead and get started with something called solving by elimination method. So our last notes we practiced substitution method. These notes are now something called elimination. But before we get going, follow along as I read this paragraph. You have already developed some useful strategies for solving simple linear equations like 3x plus 5 equals 10. You know that you can add or subtract the same quantity on both sides and preserve equality. The same is true for multiplication or division. These ideas, called the properties of equality, can help you develop another method for solving linear equations. This method involves combining separate linear equations through 4 basic operations into one equation with only one variable. Okay, so that is the idea of elimination method. So there are lots of names for elimination method. So I want to cover all the names so you're not confused. They're called combination, addition, or I call them elimination, and that is probably the more common of the two. It used to be combination method, but that seems to have been phased out. Anyway, our goal is to be using some of our basic operations. And so if I take a look at number 1, using the idea, and maybe this is why it was called addition at one point, is I'm going to take these two equations and I'm going to add them up, okay? This is our goal with this addition or elimination method. When I add them up, I have x plus x, I get 2x. Y minus y is 0. Drop down equals 3 minus 9 is negative 6. So do you guys notice how our y variable is now gone and we can solve for the x variable? Okay, that's because we did something called the elimination method. We did something where our goal for elimination method will be to create opposites. Okay, so right here, this is called an opposite. And so what we're going to do from here is we'll go ahead and divide both sides by 2. And I have x is equal to negative 3. Okay. And so just like what we did with substitution is we are going to solve for y. It doesn't matter which equation you pick, just pick one of the equations. And so I'm going to go ahead and pick the first one. I'm going to take x plus y, but instead of writing x, I'm going to write negative 3 in for x. Plus y is equal to 3. Then I'm going to go ahead and solve for y. When I solve for y, I have y is equal to 6. And so the last thing I'm going to do is write down that this is one solution with the ordered pair negative 3, 6. Okay, let's try this again for number 2. Number 2, so when we are doing this, our goal is to look for opposites, okay? So we can eliminate one of our variables. So I see that I have opposites right here, okay? So these are my opposites. So 2x minus 2x. So it's the same number, just opposite signs. We're going to keep adding them together. So when I add these two together, they are eliminated, okay? They cancel out. Then I go ahead to my y's. Negative 4y plus 6y is 2y. 10 minus 4 is 6. Divide both sides by 2. Y is equal to 3. Now pick one of your equations. Again, it doesn't matter which one, and we're going to substitute 3 in for y. So I'm going to go ahead and just pick the top one and put 3 in for y, and then solve. I have 2x is equal to 22. Divide both sides by 2. X is 11. My final answer is one solution at the ordered pair 11, 3. Okay, let's go ahead and try number 3. On number 3, what we have down here is, again, we're looking for opposites, okay? Now, on number 3, this is our first example where we're looking for opposites, but we don't have opposites. Negative 7 and negative 7 are close to being opposites, but they are not opposites. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take one of these equations and multiply by negative 1. So I'm going to take this and multiply by -1. Now the reason I'm going to multiply by -1 is negative times a negative, I get a positive 7y, and then I get my opposites. But make sure that when you multiply by -1, every term is multiplied by -1. So -1 times -4x is a positive 4x. -1 times -7y is a positive 7y. -1 times 26 is a -26. So now we have this new equation that we were able to create. I have an opposite right here with -7y and positive 7y, and I can add up the rest. So 6x plus 4x is 10x. My opposites with the y cancel out. I don't need to write it. -4 minus 26 is -30. Divide both sides by 10. X is equal to -3. Okay, now we just have to go back and solve for y. Again, it doesn't matter which equation you use. I'm going to just pick the top one. When I work with the top one, it's going to be 6x, oops, we'll put that -3 in for x. I get -18 minus 7y is equal to -4. Add 18 to both sides. -7y is now equal to 14. Divide both sides by -7. Y is equal to -2. So again, I have a one solution with the ordered pair -3, -2. Okay. Let's move on to number 4. Number 4, again, we're looking for opposites. When you don't see opposites, we're going to make opposites. Okay, so again, with our x's, our x variables, they're close to being opposites. So what we're going to do is we're going to have to multiply by 1. Okay, sorry, -1. When I multiply by -1, I get -x plus 2y is equal to positive 6. I have x and a -x. Those are my opposites. Same number, opposite signs. Now I can add this up. 3y plus 2y is 5y. 9 plus 6 is 15. We have y equals 3. Then take one of your equations, substitute 3 in for y. So I'm going to have x plus 3 times 3 is equal to 9. Subtract both sides by 9. X equals 0. One solution at the ordered pair 0, 3. Okay. Let's flip our notes over. We're going to go ahead and do 2 more together. I'm going to go ahead and do, actually, we'll just do 1 more together. We'll save 6 for next time I see you. So number 5, again, our goal is to look for opposites. If we don't have opposites, create opposites. So 4x and 3x, I could multiply one of them by I would have to multiply each of them by either -4 and then a positive 3, something along those lines. But my y's are going to be probably a little bit easier. So this is a strategy that you have to think about. One is positive, one is negative. That helps us out already. One has a 2y. The other one, all we would have to do is multiply by 2. And then we can get that opposite. Now remember, you take 2, multiply every single term by 2. So 2 times 4x is 8x. 2 times -2 is -2y. 2 times 6 is 12. Then we go ahead and combine by adding. 3x plus 8x is 11x. 2y minus 2y is 0. Drop down equals 21 plus 12, we get 33. Okay. Go ahead and divide each side by 11. I have x equals 3. Then we substitute 3 in for one of our variables and solve for y. I'm going to go ahead and take this one that we haven't manipulated, put 3 in for x. So I have 9 plus 2y equals 21. Subtract 9 on both sides. We have 2y is now equal to 12. Y is equal to 6. So we have one solution with the ordered pair 3, 6. Okay, that's it for these notes, okay? And we'll do the next 3 the next time I see you in class. All right, that's it. Thank you.